You really didn't think it was over, did you? So, after a saga that kickstarted way too much fire in my thumbnails, we got another candidate lining up for the queue. But this time, we are not talking about League of Legends. No, they are currently busy with their World Collector's Edition. Instead, the focus was swapped onto TFT, where a new cosmetic was introduced. All you need to know to get an idea of what's going on is that it has the word prestige in its name. Now, before we jump into this, we should quickly talk about how TFT's monetization works. Because, believe it or not, context is a powerful thing. You see, over the years, it was confirmed many times by Riot themselves that League of Legends is being carried by the whales. It is a free-to-play game at the end of the day, and most people don't pay. Hence why the $200 Jhin skin was introduced. It is a cosmetic aimed at the top spenders, which, in theory, should give League more sustainability, since you are directly targeting the audience that helps you run the game. But again, that's just a theory. Who knows what is really happening with all the generated revenue? Anyway, the reason why I'm bringing this up is that without thinking ahead with the kind of monetization you have, and without targeting your main source of generating revenue, the exact opposite may happen and you might have a great game. But if it doesn't generate revenue, all the resources will be shrunk down and you will get less amazing content. If you want a perfect example of this, I don't want to bring it up again. That's right, Legends of Runeterra is a stellar game which refused to cash in on selling people cards. Because in a collecting card game, it is pretty much pay to win. However, buying packs is also the main way these games make money. So when Riot went for cosmetics alone, unfortunately that turned out not to be enough. Which is why Legends of Runeterra is currently so free-to-play friendly that it's not pulling off positive numbers despite it being a great game. You see, this is the questionable side of game development that is necessary to tackle if you want to make cool things. Sometimes you have to be a bit of a devil's advocate, and you have to go for more aggressive monetization. So, how does TFT slot into this? You see, TFT is slightly different from League's monetization. League does actually have a bit of a progressive curve. When you play League for the first time, you are given a handful of playable champions, and then the game lets you to unlock the rest by playing a lot. Or by swiping a little bit. Actually, that's a lie, it is still quite a bit. Now, over the years, Riot did address the issue of the game simply having too many champions to unlock. And so these days, with the increased rates and the lowered prices, the pace at which you get new champions is fine. But you will still get walled off by the sheer amount of them. In contrast to that, when you play TFT for the first time, literally everything is unlocked. You don't grind for anything, you don't have to buy anything. You just press play and you play just like everyone else. You can't really go more free to play than that. And still, unlike Legends of Runeterra, TFT still managed to keep itself afloat with its monetization system. In the past, the TFT team actually talked about this. Their goal is to have a price tier for every kind of a player. If you want, you can spend $2. You can buy an egg of a little legend and get a random color of it. If you want to spend $5, you can buy a specific little legend instead. For $15, you can buy the Battle Pass, which has multiple new arenas, some emotes, and even some little legends. For $20, we get some of the higher quality boards. For $50, we may dive into some of the more expensive chibi champions. And above that, we start going into the whale territory. For $100, you might have gotten one of the older mythic arenas. And for $200, you can get some of the more recent arenas, as well as some of the cool variations of the chibi champions. And of course, all of those are part of a gacha system that guarantee a drop at $200. Are these prices ridiculous? Oh, absolutely. But at least they feel like unique cosmetics that everyone can use. Not just a single champion, and they are not just a recaller. At the very least, they always have some new features, even though The special chibi champions are not that far away from the originals. And again, while a lot of people hated this pricing at first, me included, you might remember me talking about the $100 mythic board the first time it came out. And over time, people kinda settled on it being a thing for the whales so they can support the game. Especially since TFT is already so free-to-play friendly. But that doesn't mean people are exactly happy about the new one. Because after going from $5 to $10, then to $50, $100, and even $200 cosmetics, the next step for TFT's monetization of cosmetic items is $500, which was proudly announced in Riot's latest devlog. So why don't we dive right into it? The cosmetic in question is a new kind of chibi called Prestige Tactician, with the first one in line being Prestige Dragonmancer Yasuo. How ironic, since the original Dragonmancer Yasuo was the first skin to break the $200 barrier. So, let's see what the post says. Prestige is a new tier of tacticians coming to TFT. These tacticians are designed for players who want to dominate the convergence in style and ensure everyone in the lobby knows who's voting for Stillwater Hold. All Prestige tacticians come with brand new splash art, visual effects, and their own unique finisher animation. That is perhaps the biggest feature this skin has over the Jin skin. The finisher animation is the execute animation that plays when you finish off an enemy. And presumably the Prestige versions will have unique animations. They will not be just recolors of the originals, right? TFT's first Prestige tactician is Prestige Chibi Dragonmancer Yasuo. He'll be launching first on TFT's China servers in the coming days, then making his way to TFT globally in 2024. Before that though, we have another Prestige tactician making its way to TFT later this year, along with our next set, and they'll be available in a limited time, tentatively named Collector's Treasure Realm Bounty, which we'll get into next. So first things first, the new cosmetic will arrive on Chinese servers first. We'll get a reason why that's really happening later in the post. But just know that the Chinese audience really loves these cosmetics, especially the ones themed around their mythos. So not only is this a safe way to test out the skin, but Riot can also pretty much guarantee its success there. What's interesting is that they also mentioned that another Prestige skin will arrive before that. And apparently it will be part of the next set. So if I put on my tinfoil hat... Look, I'm on a green screen, I can't have anything reflective. I think I can predict exactly what it's gonna be. If you watched one of our previous videos, you would know that it is very likely that this year Riot will introduce another music band. Think KDA, Pentakill, True Damage, stuff like that. And it is possible that the new music band will be a K-pop boy band. Now, if we travel back a few years, you might remember all the KDA skins also having Prestige versions, which also became true for True Damage. All of those were musical bands. So I think it is very likely that the Prestige skin that is coming first will be connected to the music band, which we are definitely getting this year. But hey, that's just a theory. Anyway, let's have a look at the new Collector's Bounty system that's coming to TFT. We're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit, but Collector's Bounties are ultimately a short-term solution. We are working on a brand new system that we are internally calling Seasonal Store, with the goal of increasing personal agency and targeting specific cosmetics, including Prestige Tacticians. We are still early on here, but we'll share updates as it comes together next year. For now, here's some details about Collector's Bounties. TFT's first Prestige Tactician outside of China will be available exclusively in Collector's Bounty. Later ones will be released through a seasonal store. Opening the Collector's Bounty costs 450 treasure tokens. I'll explain the pricing in a moment. Star content, such as the featured Prestige Tactician, will have a 2.5% drop rate and is guaranteed after opening 30 Collector's Bounties if you haven't gotten it yet. pool of content available in the Collector's Bounty is a curated selection of high-rarity cosmetics, and includes a selection of previously released mythic skinned chibis, as well as base chibis and legendary or mythic little legends. Our first Collector's Bounty will have the following mythic chibis in the pool: Dragonmancer Ash, Star Guardian Lux, Project Z. Collector's Bounties are perfect for players who are looking for the exclusive Prestige Tactician, a horde of premium cosmetics, or to target a mythic tactician they have missed in the past. So, let's break it all down. Essentially, what they are doing is that they are introducing a rotating store into TFT, just like what you have in Fortnite. Or like the banner system in Genshin. The brighter side of this is that the things they are putting on there are decently cool. It is all higher quality cosmetics which were previously limited. Up until now, you weren't able to get them if you missed them. So in a way, they are replacing FOMO with FOMO that is slightly bit better. But what's dragging all of this under the bus is the pricing. As was said here, each roll is 450 tokens. How much is that, you might ask? Well, if you jump through too many hoops, you'll find out that it is 15 bucks. That's the price of an entire legendary skin in League of Legends. And that's for a single roll. You need 30 of them to guarantee the drop. That is $500 in total. This is a brand new kind of cosmetic for the entirety of Riot Games. I think this is their most expensive item yet. The word yet being very important. But now you may be saying, don't forget that there are other ways to earn these tokens. Yes, you can earn 700 of them through the Battle Pass, after you buy it for 15 bucks. So you're getting whopping 250 tokens for free. So naturally, even though TFT finally got a way for people to get their missed cosmetics, it was not pulled off in the most fun way. Like, honestly, I think the price is about double of what people would be able to get over. With that said, people are dumb and with enough time they will get over any kind of garbage. So let's continue with the post. Are Prestige Tacticians all based on existing skinned chibis? The short answer is no. We decided on making Prestige Chibi Dragonmancer Yasuo for a few reasons. As our first tactician with the finisher animation, and because Yasuo was already a pretty popular champion to begin with, Chibi Dragonmancer Yasuo ended up being an extremely popular tactician. It felt right to commemorate him with our first Prestige. See, I told you he was the first $200 cosmetic in TFT. Looking toward the future though, we're planning on making Prestige Tacticians based on existing base Tacticians, but with variations yet to hit the conversions. You'll get a look at our first new Prestige Tactician later this year with the release of our next set. Wait, so the Prestige skins will not be chibis? They will be based on the base Tacticians, which honestly that is totally fine. The only thing that separates the normal tacticians from the chibis is the fact that they are just not based on League of Legends champions, as well as the high price tag. But if they are part of the next set, then what does that mean for my prediction? Well, KDA and True Damage both got their own tacticians, so I think it's lining up. Why isn't Yasuo a global release? This is a bit more complicated. But we're splitting the release of Prestige Chibi Dragonmancer Yasuo between China and our other regions since we need more time to complete the development of our distribution system globally. We have different tech foundations to work off of in the China server. And that server also has different content distribution systems that are built for the local market. So they have the technical ability to launch sooner than other regions. Remember, in the East, TFT is actually called the Battle for the Golden Spatula. It is ran by a totally different developer, using the same game, with totally different tech behind it. Since Prestige Chibi Dragonmancer Yasuo has completed development before we are getting ready to launch globally, we decided to launch him in China first, to coincide with a milestone celebrating for their esports scene, and follow that release globally early next year. We know this isn't ideal experience for the players globally who are looking forward to the release, but we wanted to at least be transparent about the reasons behind it. And assure everyone that Prestige Chibi Dragonmancer Yasuo will be coming to your region as well. Oh, thank God. Thanks for all the support, and we're excited to see all the shiny new Prestige Tacticians hit the convergence around the world in the near future. After this, Riot hits us with an FAQ where things don't really get any better. For example, TFT will still have 2 things to roll on. The Collector's Bounties, which is the new system with the new prestige skins, and the Treasure Realms, which are the boards and all the cosmetics which we are rolling on right now. And these 2 won't share a pity system. So it's like getting special pulls and standard pulls. It really is like a banner system, huh? They then confirm that every rotation will have a new prestige skin as well as some of the older chibi skins. And if you keep rolling for the rewards after you get them all and you start getting the promise tokens, just keep in mind you can't use them on the special pulls, only on the normal ones. And that's really where it all cuts off. So, there you have it! TFT just got a brand new cosmetic that literally hit brand new heights. And while I still think it is totally fine to target the whales that support your game, it feels like there should be a limit somewhere. I mean, if you look at what other games can earn, TFT still has room to grow. Reportedly, in 2022, on mobile devices only, TFT earned about 239 million, which sounds great. But compared to something like the king of all gacha games with 1.5 billion, yes, I still think TFT is the little fish of all gacha games. I mean, if you have a look at TFT right now without the majorly predatory microtransactions, Lineage 2 is catching up. And I don't know how that's possible.